There we go. You guys on? I think we have a workshop. We got Larry here at 5:35. You want to go ahead and start the meeting, if you would? Just a second, Larry. Let her go ahead and read it.
Let me read the call. Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, January the 23rd, 2013, at 5:35 p.m., 5:50 p.m., and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Workshop item A is presentation to brief the City Commission on the status of the Brownsville South Powder Island International Airport.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners. My name is Larry Brown, for the record. My name is Larry Brown. I serve the Community Director of Aviation for the Brownsville South Powder International Airport. I have the distinct honor of having with me also Manuel Alcocer, who is a professor at UTB and is also the chairman of the Airport Advisory Board. Also with me is one of our newest members, Dr. Malky, who's a professor of economics at UTB. And we also have with us several members of the Airport Advisory Board. If you would please stand up, as well as our friends at the airport.
Thank you for coming.
The Airport Advisory Board is responsible under Ordinance 1033 for reporting to the City Commission periodically on things of importance to the community pertaining to the airport. Each month you receive a packet of information that we electronically send to you and so forth. But the Airport Advisory Board has thought it may be appropriate for once in a while to come and show you the faces of the Airport Advisory Board and give you a brief presentation. That's the purpose for this workshop session this afternoon. Okay? With no further ado, we just want to point, if you can go to the next slide. Yeah, okay. This is a cartoon that appeared in the Brownsville Herald about 85 years ago. And it appeared in the Brownsville Herald because at that time the community recognized the importance of the airport and to aviation, when aviation was in its infancy. This still applies today in terms of the value of the airport to the community. We think that's important. Now I'd like to turn it over, if I could, to Manuel Alcocer to take off with the presentation about the airport, its importance to the community, and where we're at. Manuel.
Okay, good afternoon. What is it? Really, the airport is very important for us. You saw in the other slide some of the infrastructure that we have, and here at this slide we want to show a little bit about history about this airport. It was established in 1929, has been set for quite a while. 2,000 acres, that's what we have as property for the airport. 1,200 acres are airfield, and we have 4 runways, 2 industrial parks, 32 public buildings that have been used for manufacturing, some of them warehousing. There's still a lot of ground to develop more buildings. We are Part 139 commercial airport. We are not a hub, but we are a primary airport. What we have also is a full air cargo and commercial service taxiway. And presently we have 90 tenants that are paying rent and they're paying duties to our city. What we have, sorry for that. What we have here is a plan that we have for the extension of our runways. Presently, our runway is 7,400 feet and allow us to receive a certain type of aircraft, but we need to expand it so that we can bring more heavy cargo in larger planes. The money-wise, I believe that it's important for us to give you an idea of what the airport represents in terms of dollars. And for that, I will ask Dr. Malky to explain his numbers.
Thank you, Manuel.
Thank you, Manuel. What I did is look at the economic impact of the airport, and we divide it into 3 different categories. One is just the airport itself, and that's what you see here. Just the airport being in Brownsville generates about $27 million worth of economic activity. Out of that $27 million, 10.5 stays here. The rest are leakages. So the $27 million is just the level of activity and movement of money within the community. And again, not all of it stays here because we don't produce every single thing we use here. What stays is the value added $10.5 million, and that's amount to about 184 jobs. The airport also generates and is a source of federal grants. So between 2002 and 2012, the airport has brought in $56 million, about $34 million in federal grants. Those federal grants spent here in improvements have generated $56 million worth of activity through the ripple effect and a multiplier effect. Out of that $56 million, again, this is over a 10-year period, they have added $26 million to the local economy and 563 jobs. Most of these jobs are temporary jobs. They are associated with construction, architectural design, and engineering. So this is the second impact. The third one is to look at passenger activity because it's a gateway to the city. It's bringing visitors to the city and bringing external funds to the city. So the passenger activity, on average year, we generate about $29 million worth of spending in the community. Out of that $29 million, $16 million stays here. And most of this activity is really related to the hospitality and tourism industry. And we generate about 380 jobs. These jobs are in hotels and motels, entertainment, and food and drinking establishments. The fiscal impact of the city. And remember that the airport also has some an industrial park. We have not calculated the impact of the industrial park because of time constraint. This is just from the 3 activities. There's additional revenue that the airport generates, and additional value that we were not able to compute because of the time constraint. So just from the 3 activities I have shown you, the airport generates about $1.4 million. Because of all this activity in the city, it generates about $1.4 million in ad valorem taxes and about $1 million in sales tax. That does not include, again, the activity at the airport from tenants in the industrial parks. And this is a significant amount, for our airport. Okay. What's there?
In the next slide, we're showing a couple of sections of work that has been developed by using grants. One of them was devoted to Hurricane Dolly that damaged the city, the one on the left. And the project that we went through was detention pond. We made some improvements to capture more water for rain. When rain comes in, we had to fix the perimeter fence. And we also had to invest in a generator because when we have bad weather, we can lose the power from PUB and then get into trouble with the lights for the runway. So those projects on the Hurricane Dolly came from FAA as well as the city of Brownsville. On the other slide, we are showing the projects that we work with the GBIC money that was provided to us. Parking lots, several stages of it. We did change the agricultural facility that we had close to one of the hangars to another. We relocated to the free trade zone area, as well as the maintenance shop and the airport and parks maintenance building. We're seeing to the incinerator because we do have to operate an incinerator all year round because of the requirements of FAA to process all the garbage or the residuals from flights, international flights. So we do have projects that are coming about, and we're needing more support for our airport. The information that we've been sharing with you, you have a copy of it, and we will be more than glad to provide any additional information related to all these projects themselves. What we have here in this slide, we have 3 graphs that are showing really the activity that we have had in the past 16 years. The top left graph is showing the payments. That represents all passengers that come to our door, come to Brownsville Airport. The one on the right is those that leave Brownsville. And that particular number is the one that is used to calculate what we call load factor. The load factor is giving us the idea of how much the airlines are making, how they're using their resources. The lower one is the load factor combined for this 16 years. Now, the load factor is measured only on the enplanements, people that go out, because people that come in are counted on the departure airport. The enplanements for this last year, we were in the 90,000. And if you add the enplanements and deplanements, we are 192,000 people that touch the airport that we have right now. So it is important that we analyze this in terms of passengers and the possibility of enlarging our runway to get more traction, to attract more heavy planes and more air cargo. The next couple of slides are showing status of some of the projects. So I would like Larry to go for him.
A couple of things we feel are particularly important in terms of the present. If you see that second one in particular, since we've already gone over these statistics, one of the projects that was very important to the airport was completing a 20,000 square foot hangar. There was a GBIC funded project. The project's done. The hangar is already leased. But that hangar was leased the day it was finished. Those are the type of things that are very important to the future of the airport from an economic perspective, because that is the key dollar generator for the airport in terms of revenue to help offset the city's costs associated with operating the airport. Being able to build more aviation-oriented buildings and lease those buildings. Other things, and as Manuel pointed out too, if you see that list on the right-hand side there with the orange color, that's a list of all of the airport tenants. There are 90 airport tenants, okay, counting all the buildings and the tenants, the airlines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that requires a lot of time in order to take care of that many tenants in an area that's, we've got more tenants than the Sunrise Mall does, and we are actually in a bigger area. Also, if you look at both the revenue and expenses of the airport, obviously we need to keep building the revenue to help offset the costs associated with operating the airport. Again, having to do with buildings, additional airlines, additional PFCs, and so forth. Finally, as we get down to the bottom two, this is an airport. It is very important, as I'm sure the mayor knows and the commission knows, it's very important that we advertise the fact that we have 3 airlines. And when we started in 2002, for example, we had 1 airline, 3 round trips a day. We now have 3 airlines and between 7 and 11 round trips a day. Our ability to attract people to fly on those planes to different destinations as well as fly in here is important to the future growth and development of this city. So it is important that we advertise the fact that we have an airport, we have airline and seats available on 3 different aircraft. You can get to anywhere you need to go out of the Brownsville Airport, okay? And we believe it's important that we continue that effort.
As your number of flights have increased over the years, has your marketing budget increased appropriately to assist with that?
Right now, our marketing budget represents about $130,000 a year. If you look at our competition, which granted, our competition has the same number of flights, 3 round trips a day, but they have nearly $1 million in an advertising budget. That's Harlingen. McAllen has something similar. They have about 400,000 passengers per year in terms of enplanements. Same thing with McAllen. In order for us to continue to grow, we need to continue to increase our promotion of the airport and the use of the airport, and that's going to require more advertising money. So we always feel as though we're a little bit behind in terms of game when we look at what our competition is doing.
Has your budget, has that dollar figure been the same?
No, the dollar figure has increased over the period of 2002 to the present
Okay.
time, and it's continued to increase. But it's commensurate and almost directly associated with our advertising budget and our availability of the flights and the infrastructure that we have supported is what allows us to go and market to get additional airline service, to bring those jobs, to bring that revenue. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Good
Okay.
question.
Other things that are particularly important that are illustrated on this slide, if you look at the pink map that you see there, it's colored pink, that represents the future of the airport in terms of the potential for a runway extension. The city, and I believe very wisely, has authorized the expenditure of city revenue to buy property for the future extension of that main runway. That's what you see there is actually progress being made in terms of buying that property to extend that main runway. That changes the classification of the airport in terms of the type of aircraft that can take off and land here, particularly in terms of the air cargo business, okay? More airlines, more air cargo is a key goal of ours, and we do have goals that have been established for the airport. We're not going over all of those this evening. But some of the things to look for in the future represent additional industrial activity at the 2 industrial parks in the foreign trade zone at the airport. One of the other things that we believe is particularly important for economic development purposes is the relocation of the CAF, Commemorative Air Force, to a new facility would be on the south side of Boca Chica, north side of the airport. That would free up the hangar that they're in right now, and we have tenants for that hangar right now. We could lease that hangar today. Anyway, without getting into too much, because we only got 15 minutes and so forth, we did want to make sure that we brought these things to your attention.
We'll work on
Okay.
that.
Just to conclude, we would like to show you a couple of slides that tell you what's going on, what has been happening in the airport. The left graph is showing the employments on the airports from 1957 to 2012. You can see 2 drops, 2 valleys there in the 80s. When we started having the continental or activity, we started growing, and if you look into the last 10 years, we have a tendency, and the tendency is growth tendency. So we are looking forward to continue with that. The graph on the right is showing the employments in 1982. 1,000 people came into Brownsville by private planes. There was no activity at all. When we started in 98, we had, the number is 15,000, and the present is the 90,000 that we've been talking about. So you can see that we need this airport. People come to our city through this door. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment. I'd like to congratulate the board and Mr. Brown, because although I'm not appointed to your board, I still understand the importance of having a liaison from the city there. And the times that I do attend, I'm very impressed with all of you. You're very active. And despite the smaller, proportionally smaller budget for marketing, you guys have even won awards. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Another thing I wanted to make a comment, I'm very proud of you. As you all know, the airport is within my district, and in the last 2 years that I have been here, I have seen tremendous progress with the expansion of the runway and just the direction that you're headed in. I'm so very proud of you, and I wish I had all of the money in the world to give you guys, because I know how good you all are with it. And I just wanted to thank the board for all of your dedication and your hard work, because this is such a vital piece of the city, and I don't think that we recognize you enough. But I do want you to know that we are very, very proud of all of the progress that you all are making out there and your dedication to it. Thanks.
Thank you.
We want to be especially proud of David. He's ready for Char Days.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the only last thing, please fly Brownsville, okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys
Good
coming
job.
by.
Good job.
Executive session, item A, consultation with attorney regarding real estate acquisitions pursuant to sections 551.071 and 551.072 of the Texas Government Code.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, let's go in.
I know. Yes, definitely.
Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our invocation will be given by Steve Dorman of the First Baptist Church. Thank you for being here, Pastor.
Thank you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're just so thankful that you love us and you're so good to us all the time. We come before your presence now to pray for this city, to pray for these men and women who lead us, to ask your blessings, to ask your wisdom, to ask your guidance, to ask your protection for us from going in wrong directions. Lord, everything that these men and women need tonight, we pray that you would enable them, endow them with that ability, and that you would be praised as a result of the good things that happen. We honor you and we love you and we thank you for letting us pray to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Mayor's activity report.
Just a brief report. I had the good fortune of being in Washington over the last week at a mayor's conference and got the opportunity to be at the inauguration. But the highlight was, besides all that, had the opportunity to visit with the Hannah High School young students who were up there. We met this morning with the Congressman Vela at Georgetown. Congressman Vela Filomon is a alumni of Georgetown. We gave him some introductory remarks and welcomed them and took pictures. Hopefully you'll get a chance to see him. I don't know who's doing that kind of thing right now, but they were very pleased and they enjoyed the inauguration tremendously. So it was a real treat for me as mayor to have these kids, welcome them in Washington and welcome them back home when they come back. They seemed to be having a great time. It was a little bit cold over there this morning, so they were shivering just a bit. But the other thing I wanted to mention as a mayor's report is I'd like to recognize and thank Commissioner Longoria. He is going to Mexico City and is going to greet Mr. Amigo, the new Mr. Amigo. He will be taking over whatever duties I may or may not have. And he's also going to take Bob Torres, who I understand is not doing well. So our prayers and thoughts go with the Torres family. But Rick, thank you so much for doing this for us. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner report.
Wanted to thank the Health Department, the School of Public Health, and all of our partners for a wonderful kickoff to the Biggest Loser Challenge a couple of weeks ago on the 11th and the 12th. The final numbers are not in because they're still clamoring for registrants, but we did register over 1,200 people this year, which is higher than last year, and it's still growing. Check out the website, BrownsvilleBiggestLoserChallenge.com, or find the link on the city channel as well, or the city website as well. And stay tuned for a lot of great events in the next 4 months.
Good work, Commissioner. Anyone else? Okay, proclamations.
We're waiting for the consul to arrive.
Mayor, they're a few minutes away. We can go out of order and proceed with the BCBB report, just to give them an extra 2-3 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, my name is Mariano Bean Ayala, President and CEO of your Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm here to give you a quick presentation on the first quarter, some of the activities we've had. Last year we kicked off a new logo and it's called WOW, Always a Fiesta. And people say, well, what do you mean party, party? No, what we mean is that when you come to Brownsville, you're going to be in a festive mood. We're going to put you in a festive mood because of all the happenings that we have around the city and the friendliness of the citizens. So when someone leaves Brownsville, they're going to go, wow, you all need to go to Brownsville. They're fantastic down there. We have a great time. There's so much to do. And thus, wow, always a fiesta. And that came about after a couple of citywide meetings that we had in the last couple of years. And as a matter of fact, we're going to have another citywide meeting on February 20th at 7 a.m. at the Holiday Inn. All of you are welcome. I don't have to welcome Mr. Commissioner Verial. He's a board member. He already knows about it. But go ahead. Oh, all right, do it. You want to do it? Please. Thank you. Board members, board of directors, self-explanatory. We have several hoteliers. We are lacking a couple of liaisons, but they are non-voting members. So we are missing 2 liaisons in case some citizen would like to serve on the CVV board. They could go through the city secretary's office. Our demographics, it's been very consistent since I've been around, and we've had throughout the United States 13,433 visits, with Mexico coming in second at 1,500. Within the states that mostly look at our webpage are citizens from around Texas. The next one is Maryland, Florida, California, and Virginia. And most of the Brownsville citizens of Brownsville are the ones that have been going to our webpage more, and that is due to the fact that our local awareness program, which won Miguel mentioned last time, we won a state award on local awareness, and obviously it's working. We've got 2,000 citizens that have gone to our webpage, with McAllen coming in close second at 1,700, and then Houston and San Antonio and Dallas. Go ahead. We've had Facebook, 605 total likes, Twitter, 215 followers, 63 Instagram, and Instagram is starting to really take off. This is where someone takes a picture and we can put it on our webpage immediately so people can see what's happening right now. YouTube, it's at 1,900 hits. We're thinking that it's really going to go higher next quarter because our new video for the CVB promoting the city went kind of viral last couple of weeks all over Facebook. I got several calls from people, and they told me, hey, we just saw your video, it's fantastic, and I'm not going to report on it right now, I'll save it for next time. Bulk mail, here we have sent out 838 visitor guides mail, and these go to people who have requested for us to send it directly to them. So it's not going to go to a shelf or whatever, it's going to someone's house. Let's see. We're going to see if we can show you the new video.
In the far reaches of the South Texas tropics, there is still a place full of tradition and rich in culture. A place of year-long celebrations, where its nature and wildlife are enhanced by the richness of a mighty river. There is a place where new frontiers were started. And history is still alive, where the local flavors blend into a festive ambience, infused by 2 great nations, whose international artists, musicians, and chefs bring it to life, and business thrives. What will you discover? Should you find yourself asking, does such a place really exist? Yes. Brownsville, a place that will keep you coming back, to make friends and lasting memories, where you'll always find a fiesta.
So we're very excited about the new promotional video. We're looking, I've already spoken to a gentleman to see if we can put them in hotels in the Corpus Christi area and locally and on the island. Another new aspect that we started with TV Azteca is we have commercials going on, and they have a population of 9.2 million people. with 2.2 million homes that are that have this going to their homes. What we did, we separated into 3 different types of ads, commercials. For instance, right now we started with a holiday village, the Christmas holidays, etc., to ask people to come into Brownsville to shop. The second one is going to emphasize Char Day, Semana Santa, etc., etc. And then the third phase would go into the summer. So this is really a great opportunity for us at a very economical cost. Of course, we continue doing magazines that go throughout the state and the nation. Texas Touring Meeting Guide. We've been emphasizing athletics at the sports park. And this is the ad we have in the Sports Event magazine, and I'm very proud of the magazine. The ad on the bottom right, if you notice, the basketball, the softball, the hardball, soccer ball, and then we always emphasize ecotourism. And if you notice in the video, we're always emphasizing ecotourism, the zoo, birding, our museums. But in this one, I'm very proud because we did that in-house. Miguel did that ad in-house, which is excellent. It saved us a lot of money. And then I like it because it says, wow, what are you waiting for? In other words, get to Brownsville. Another thing we had a gentleman, Mr. Namid. He's from Guatemala. He works a lot with the Governor's Office of Tourism. He came to Brownsville. We took him all over the museums, et cetera, and he is promoting Brownsville on his show. And you kind of doubt sometimes that this really works. Well, we had a person from Guatemala come in, and I asked him if he knew this person, and he said, yes, he's famous for promoting cities. He travels all over the world, whatever. And I said, well, he was just here 2 weeks ago. He said, well, we'll be seeing your city on his show. So that made me feel real good because this gentleman reaches 8 million people, 2.1 million homes, and it didn't cost us anything except his room and board and his food for him, his partner, and his cameraman. So this was a very good opportunity, and we took advantage of it. Go ahead. One of the things that my board has always emphasized is for me to help the city, always be out there. I think you all know about it since they call me Loudmouth Lime sometimes, but I don't care as long as I'm promoting Brownsville. I helped out with the Holiday Village, of course, the Ciclovia, and I already talked to Javier. We're talking about bringing another Ciclovia, making it bigger, and Commissioner Gao and I visited on that one also.
We have dates already for you.
There it is. There's dates already? Good. And then the Camille Playhouse, I happen to be in the Wizard of Oz, and you are talking to the ex-wizard. It was a great opportunity, and we also are helping with Better Block, as always. So, and if you look, there's a cast at the bottom right, is a cast of the Wizard of Oz. The picture in the middle is where I help master ceremonies, the Christmas parade, and on the left is a Better Block. And first quarter highlights, we did a tourism ambassador program at Rotary Clubs. And one of the things we're emphasizing now is going to the RV parks around the valley. We went to the Fun and Sun RV Park in San Benito, which is one of the largest, if not the largest. And they received us very, very well. They want to bring a group of 80 people into Brownsville to tour all the facilities. And they're asking us to find a restaurant where they can all sit down and have one meal together. So that's a nice problem to have. We also went to the RV Park Activity Directors Expo in Donna. We also we work in cooperation with the zoo, and they invited us to attend the RV Activities Director at the zoo. And the bottom line, I was taught not to brag when I was a kid, but somebody says you eventually have to pat on yourself on the back. Well, I'm happy to say that the Texas Society of Association of Executives, for the first time ever, gave out the Community Service Making a Difference Award, and I was blessed to be the first recipient of that award. And I just want to say that I did it because I want to represent Brownsville, and my heart is with Brownsville. So that's what that last phrase is. Hotel performance in the third quarter, and what we do, we get it from the Texas Hotel Performance Report, and it says that we did a little bit better in the third quarter. If you see 2011, It was 16,105, and third quarter 2012 is 17,596 thousand per positive 9.3 change. So we're doing okay here in Brownsville. Some of the sporting events we've helped bring in, or we sponsor, is United USSSA baseball tournament. We brought in 15 teams with an estimated revenue of $328,000. We also helped bring in the South Texas Youth Association Western District Tournament with 28 teams, which estimated revenue is $612,000. The formula we use is provided by the governor's office. We don't make it up. It's provided by the state for a total revenue of $940,625. In the Bureau, we have walk-in reports. We had 1,197 people that walked into the visitor. If you notice, it is down. It is down by I think, I'm not sure what percentage it is, but we are down. Did some homework, and what's happening is that a lot of your winter Texans don't need to come in anymore. They already know where to go. And we do have a difference that the Mexican citizens are still low in numbers coming over, so that also affected our walk-ins. But, go ahead, it's all right. But if we total, more or less, bless you. If we add the walk-in revenues and the estimated sports revenue, it total about 1.48 million, for an estimated return of investment of $956,669. And our total city funding is $525. So I think we're starting to roll with the punches and do well for the city. I will entertain any questions or any comments.
Very good, Bean. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on your award.
Well, thank you very much.
Congratulations on your work.
I think you left out one of your community events, the one where you gave me second place at the Dancing with the Stars.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. And John, will you do the proclamation?
I believe she's not here yet.
Okay.
Can we still put it off?
Well, we can do it when she comes in. Just
Sure.
let me know.
Okay.
Number 5, consent agenda items.
I'll entertain a
Motion to
motion.
approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Boards and commissions, item 6, consideration and action to appoint one member to the Brownsville Beautification Committee.
Mayor, members of the commission, you have an application that we apologize we just put on your desk from Linda Marin, who is a viable candidate for this vacancy. I have Cynthia Garza with me. She has served and extended her service to the committee and is wishing, she's unreplaceable, but she's wishing to step down and have someone take her place, and this is who Ms. Marin will take her place if you so approves of the action item.
Okay, I'll entertain a-
We do have other vacancies here. We have had some people leave the city or resign, so we need to accelerate the process of getting more viable
Okay,
candidates.
but this is to appoint one member.
One member for Sylvia,
Okay,
and this is
for
the
Sylvia.
application.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 7, consideration and action to appoint one member to the Brownsville Metro Transit Advisory Committee.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor. We have actually 2 vacancies in our department right now. Mr. Roman Perez is seeking to be reappointed to the board. This would be his second 2-year term.
Okay, and he's done a good job, I understand.
Yeah, he has. And I mean, he wanted to be here tonight, but he had a medical emergency with his mom, so he was not able
Sure.
to make it.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Roman Perez.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, Norma.
Thank you.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2013-871-A to amend Chapter 26 Cemeteries of the Brownsville City Code by amending Sections 26-1, 26-2, and 26-3, and adding Sections 26-4, 26-5, 26-6, and 26-7, and dealing with related matters.
The mayor and members of the commission, we went about the process of looking at the city cemetery ordinance in light of the conveyance of the city cemetery to the Historical Association, and also in view of the fact that the old city cemetery is now a National Register historic site. And what we're proposing to add is that in terms of headstones and markers, they all have to be approved by the City Heritage Council, which is the case with any building or any structure that's been designated as a National Historic Site. And that on interments, we're running out of ground. And so there's an area known as Potter's Field, which is where you buried the poor. That's full. And so the ordinance provides that there will be no more interments in Potter's Field. And then in the rest of it, it's kind of up to the city secretary's discretion as to whether there's space available, there's proof of proper ownership of the grave, you know, that kind of thing. Otherwise, those are additions to the ordinance. Otherwise, the ordinance pretty much stays as it was.
Okay. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Close public hearing?
Oh,
Is that a
public
public
hearing, forgive. I really am getting stopped up.
Sorry.
Okay.
Motion to close public.
Well, let's figure out, does anybody have any comments?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now in action.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries.
I always do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2013-1570, an ordinance to amend the City of Brownsville Code of Ordinance by adding Chapter 310 grants and establishing the structure and guidelines for the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee within.
Mayor?
Sure.
Ms. Reyes, I received an email from you this afternoon. Because of your schedule and my schedule, we haven't been able to meet.
Right.
The option that you proposed, I don't know if the commission got to view it. I know Mayor didn't get to view it. And there is a couple of concerns. The reason that when I brought it up wasn't to, I mean, I'm grateful that your recommendation is to have two per district, but by the same token, the reason for doing it was not to cut the mayor or the at-large representation on the board. So I was wondering if we could table it for the first meeting in February so that we can further discuss with you and your department.
And I would appreciate that very much, because I just got off the plane, to be honest with you.
No, that's fine. I apologize. And I was out half of the week, so.
Yeah, and I think
schedules
both of you and I have the same ailment. We're all stopped up, right?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that's absolutely okay.
We have a motion.
Motion.
to table. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2013-100.51, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1100 by readopting the Heritage Plan, dealing with related matters, including $2,000 penalties.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Peter Goodman. I'm the Historic Downtown District Director. Just let me give you a brief outline as to why this is important and what we're asking you to vote on. Take me just 2 minutes. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the Brownsville Heritage Survey and Heritage Plan. The City Code requires that the survey and the plan be adopted once every year. The survey is intended to be an inventory of all existing and potential heritage sites in Brownsville. The survey also documents any changes to the sites that have occurred in the past year. The plan is intended to rank those sites according to their architectural and historical significance. The information in this update is used by the Brownsville Heritage Council to make recommendations to the Zoning Commission regarding modifications to the preceding year's Heritage Plan. Then the Zoning Commission makes its recommendation to the City Commission. By the way, the P&Z approved the plan. In summary, specifically, the Heritage Plan's recommendation is that the 2013 Heritage Plan be adopted with several changes. These changes will affect the amount of historic tax exemption, taxes foregone. Changes are as follows: 6 new sites have been designated as primary local sites. And if I can ask your patience. The first site is the Barrera House at 517 East St. Charles Street. Second one is what most folks probably remember as the Maldonado Pharmacy, which is now the Moreno Beauty Supply that's been in their family for a long time. They redid the entire building. Third site is an interesting place. It's the Hobaugh House at 15 East Levy Street. The reason this came to our attention is Mrs. Hobaugh came in, and I went to visit with her. She has a 100-foot, 6-foot-high brick wall on the other side of the house that is leaning at about a 45-degree angle that they've tried to support. And she said, look, I'm really sorry, but I can't afford to replace that wall. So I just want to put up a cyclone fence. So I did what I know the mayor would have done, is I called our friend Danny Montez.
He's in the
And
hospital.
Danny and I met with her at 7 o'clock in the morning before she went off to teach. And Danny said, look, I can't do the work, but do you have a contractor? And she does. And Danny, on his own time, is going to help the contractor do it in sections and teach him how to do it.
Just so you know, Danny did have a little episode. He was in the hospital, but he's doing okay. Okay? I had Sandra go by while I was out of town to make sure on him, okay?
Thank
But
you.
He's doing okay. God
I'm
willing,
glad to hear
he'll be out.
he's doing okay. That's the most important thing, because
Okay.
he wants to keep working.
Well, we'll keep him in our prayers as well.
I need him. I need him. Okay, this is the Vela House at 56 West Levy Street. Had you seen this house? I wish we had before sometimes. This thing was an absolute wreck, and a young couple took it upon themselves to fix the whole thing up. And there's a building behind it that's in equally poor condition that they own, and they asked to demolish it. It's not historically significant. And instead of demolishing it, they've decided they're going to fix that up too. The next one is interesting. Obviously, it's the Oscar Dancy House. And so, of course, it deserves it not just for its architecture, but for Oscar Dancy having lived there many years.
Thank you.
This one is interesting. This is we call it the Mendez House. When we don't have a historic name for a house, we use the current owner's name. This was red tagged, set for demolition, ready to be torn down by the city, actually. When Mr. Mendez found the owner, bought it, and rebuilt the entire, it's beautiful now. I mean, you can see it's beautiful. It's for sale, by the way, if anybody's interested. It's at 1252 West St. Charles Street.
It's a beautiful
I think he'll
home.
even entertain rentals, but it's fabulous.
It's
He's
a
just done an
beautiful home.
incredible
I've seen it
job.
online.
And I just have one other thing to say before you vote on this. I know what high esteem the commission holds our valued employees, and so I just wanted to let you folks know that Mr. Gabito, who's been with the city for 17 years and has been the Heritage Officer for 13 years, and has helped me through every movie and every concert and every jazz festival, and God knows how many hours, has decided he's had enough of me, and so he's going to retire. He's much older than I am, so as you can see. So he's retiring. This is his last appearance before the City Commission. I know he'll miss that. He always looked forward to it. So I just thought I should let you know. If any of you would like to take his place, please call me.
Okay.
Because
Well, Joe, thank you so much for all your work. You know, you and I have spent many hours together and doing a lot of the endeavors, and you look very nice tonight, by the way. Anyway, we'll be in touch, and we'll be, you know, you may retire, but you can't leave, okay? That's all. Okay, guys, I need a motion, well, I need a public hearing. Does anybody have any questions or comments with regards to the property that we're talking about?
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Item 11, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2011-044-S to allow a duplex in a dwelling A classification for 70 by 132-foot lot of Lot 1, Block 17 of Riverside subdivision located near 15 Mason Lane.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. We have our first zoning case. This is specific use. Can you check? No? Yes. You can see this is the aerial of the area. This is Mason Drive, Riverside Boulevard. This is the property shaded or circle or lined by red color. This is for duplex. This was before the Planning and Senate Commission, and they all in favor of this duplex. This is a closer area. Again, this is Mason Avenue, Riverside Boulevard. Can you move it to? Here.
I see it.
This is this is the site plan for approval, and again, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. This is the duplex and for a driveway with 4 parking spaces, 2 per unit.
It's a public hearing. Anybody have any comments? For or against? Commissioners, anything?
Close?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's action item now.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one, please, Noe.
Item 12, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-045-S to allow duplexes on a dwelling A classification for Block 46 of Acacia Lake subdivision located near East Avenue and East 32nd Street.
Again, we have another aerial projected on the screen. This is the area shaded in, well, lined by red color. This is from the previous, continue from the previous City Commission meeting. Commissioner, you asked me to bring a proposed site plan. And can you go back to the site plan?
Are you sure that's the right one?
This is the proposed, recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission for 2 duplexes. The application was for 3 duplexes, but the Planning and Zoning Commission only recommended for 2 duplexes, 4 units. As you can see, all the parking spaces and the 4 units similar to this. Again, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, and it's before you.
Close? Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Approved?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 13.
Item 13, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-050-S to allow apartments on a professional office A classification and the removal of the 033 non-apartments overlay for 1.081 acres out of Block 51 of El Jardín subdivision located near Central Avenue and Burnett Road.
This is an area by North Central Avenue, Mackenzie Road. This area is an existing house, and the proposal is for a daycare and 4 duplexes for 8 units. Again, this was under the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they all recommended approval of this specific use.
So it's for a daycare and for apartments.
4 duplexes apartments.
How convenient.
Well, it's a good site. Can you put it?
That's a very good neighborhood-oriented area, and I think that's a very wise choice to put a daycare in there because that's very quiet, and all of the
Yes, combined with
neighborhood can take advantage of that.
Exactly, and combined, and it's a nice with area for the kids within the daycare, and also for the kids for the apartments or duplexes.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Kudos to them for thinking of that.
Mr. Pua, I had asked Ruben Garcia to visit with you before this came before us. All his questions were answered?
Yes, sir.
As far as it's understood, P&Z saw that there's a buffer in between the duplexes and the daycare?
Yes, sir.
And he did agree that he was going to screen potential renters or clients?
Yes, sir, and also add, like I said before, the area for the kids, a play area, a nice big play area,
I think that's standard with any daycare, yeah.
which he didn't have any problems adding to the
No, I
project.
just mentioned him, that my concern was that he was gonna have duplexes right next to a daycare, and the potential of somebody right next to where children are located, but it's been addressed.
Yeah, it's fenced, it's fenced.
Want to close?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move to approve?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 14, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-051 to rezone from light industrial G classification to general retail G classification for the north 6.7 acres out of Block 128 of El Jardín subdivision, Share 19, located near FM 802 and Central Avenue.
Mayor, City Commission, this is 802 and Central, Robindale, Central and Robindale. And the PUB wastewater treatment facility is back here. This is a two-part zoning case. The first part is the front part along 802, and the part you're hearing today, or right now, is fourth commercial classification. Right now, it's seventh commercial. The reason that we're lowering it to fourth commercial is because in the back here, the second case after this, they want to do multifamily development back here, so that'll be rezoned to apartment. So the uses, we didn't want to leave a seventh commercial use in the front that allows for industrial uses and then apartments in the back. So this was a good, we worked back and forth with the applicant, and this is what we came up to. So we're asking for your approval for fourth commercial G classification in the front part, and the next one will be the apartments.
I think that's a really good move that you're working with them to ensure that, because I don't know if people can remember, but before, remember we had that problem with the recycling scrap metal plant that wanted to go next door to the neighborhoods?
Yeah.
So I commend you for planning this out and looking at it and protecting these families that will eventually be behind there.
Yeah. So the only uses that will be allowed are just general retail,
Right.
apartments, offices.
Anyone have any comments? Public hearing? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is connected to this one, right?
Yes.
This is for the-
But
You'll
may I
see.
read it, please? Item 15, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-052-CO to rezone from light industrial G classification to apartments G classification and a conditional use overlay for 21.39 acres out of Block 128 of El Jardín subdivision, Share 19, located at FM 802 and Central Avenue, pardon me.
So as I discussed earlier, this is a, obviously the fourth commercial is now in the front, and then we're rezoning the apartments in the back. We feel it's a good use of the property, and we ask for your approval. P&Z also unanimously approved this. The conditional overlay, there is a conditional overlay that we're establishing here, is to allow for 15 units per acre. Under the category, it would have only allowed for 12 and a half. So, and they wanted the ability to be a little more flexible as far as, playing with the apartments, the amount of apartments they're going to have. So we felt 15 was okay. It's within a range that we felt comfortable with. So we are allowing for a little more, but it's okay. So.
Okay, any comments on that?
Did anybody complain about the 15?
No, what we didn't want to happen was, let's say after they do all their calculations, they're at like 13 and a half or 14, they're going to have to come back here and get approval again. So we felt that just giving them a little bit of a buffer would allow some flexibility there.
Can you explain to me what a half is? When you have 12 and a half, or?
That 12 and a half units per acre, so you're allowed to build 12 and a half living units per acre in a zoning category.
So you need 13 acres to make 13.
I would hate to live in a half.
Like I said, I'm just trying, I'm curious, because what does a half mean?
A half?
Yeah, you say 12 and a half.
Well, that's the number, 12.5. 12.5 units
So we're
per
giving
acre.
them extra
12 acres to
leniency to build extra, so they're extra small.
No, that's just a ratio. It's a ratio that's there.
That's
It's a
fine.
half
I'm sorry I asked.
It's a half
Anyway, anybody have any comments? Public? Okay. Then,
Close.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action.
Motion to approve?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-053 to rezone from dwelling G classification to general retail G classification for 2.0 acres out of the northwest corner of Lot 4, Block 313 of El Jardín subdivision, located near Illinois Avenue and South Padre Island Highway.
Again, we have another map projector on the screen. This area shaded in red is the proposed general retail G. Again, it was before the Planning and Senate Commission, all in favor of the rezoning.
That's very exciting. I'm so excited about all of this retail.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Entertain a motion to close.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, may I make a motion that we deviate from our agenda and go back to presentations and proclamations so that we may honor our visiting consul from Guatemala?
Go ahead. That will be you, John.
Sure.
The proclamation, if everybody's in agreement, we'll go with that, do that.
Proclamation for Ms. Alba Dalila Cáceres Lopez.
Go ahead and read the proclamation here.
Sure. Should I sit so I can use the mic?
It's kind of tall.
John, just extend it. Just kidding, go ahead.
Bienvenida. A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing Alba Dalila Cáceres Lopez, Guatemalan consul, for her work on behalf of the Guatemalan community residing in South Texas and the border with Mexico. Whereas Alba Dalila Cáceres Lopez has served as Guatemalan consul from November 15th, 2011 to date, attending to the needs of the Guatemalan community in South Texas. And whereas this is the first time that Guatemala establishes a consular office in South Texas and joins with the Mexican consulate network to provide consular services to the Guatemalan community. And whereas having the Guatemalan consulate offices located in the Rio Grande Valley indicates that Brownsville has reached an international level of importance, thus opening cultural and commercial trade with the Central American nation. And whereas Lopez's objective is to provide orientation, advisory, and protective services to the Guatemalan community and promote goodwill in the region. And whereas the Guatemalan consulate's jurisdiction, headquartered in McAllen, Texas, covers the area from Brownsville to El Paso, Texas. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, by the authority vested by the charter of said city, do hereby recognize Alba Dalila Cáceres Lopez for outstanding and valuable service and support on behalf of the Guatemalan community of South Texas, and for promoting goodwill in the region from Brownsville to El Paso, Texas, and further wish her continued success during her tenure as Guatemalan consul in South Texas. Done on this 22nd day of January 2013, signed Antonio Martinez, Mayor, and the City Commission.
Alba, thank you so much for all your work. And congratulations to all the people over here. Did y'all get all your pictures?
Just about.
Muchas gracias. Sí, no, por favor.
Good afternoon to everybody. The better part to stay here is everybody speaks Spanish, right?
Sure.
Sí. So that is good for me. Les agradezco mucho esta proclamación, porque esta proclamación no solamente es para Alba Cáceres como persona. Esta proclamación la recibo en nombre de mi país, porque al reconocer ustedes a su servidora como cónsul del Valle de Texas, estar reconociendo a Guatemala como una ciudad. He manifestado en reiteradas oportunidades a mi gobierno y a las diferentes autoridades de los Estados Unidos en Washington que para nosotros es un placer trabajar con las autoridades de todo el Valle de Texas. Esto es una vez más una muestra de que definitivamente las ciudades están siendo llevadas por el buen camino y demuestra el buen corazón que ustedes tienen y la sensibilidad que sienten hacia nuestros connacionales. Estoy convencida que este acto significa quizás un acontecimiento más para su ciudad, pero para nosotros, para los guatemaltecos, significa una victoria porque estamos siendo reconocidos en los Estados Unidos y porque finalmente estamos siendo tomados en consideración. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes y que Dios los bendiga.
Oye, mi Alba, y que sepa la comunidad de Guatemala que aquí no nomás tienen su casa, aquí tienen su familia, ¿ok? Muchísimas gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, alcalde.
Señorita cónsul, quería tomar nomás un poquito de su tiempo. Aparte de cuando ya nos trajo la información, ¿verdad? Muchas veces estábamos, ¿verdad? No al corriente en cuestión de que sí había un cónsul guatemalteco dentro del Valle de Texas. Entonces, me preguntaban hoy temprano una compañera, ¿qué significancia y qué importancia tiene esto para Bronzeville? Entonces, mi respuesta es la siguiente, y quiero compartirla con usted porque tiene que estar claro que dentro de Bronzeville la comunidad guatemalteca está presente. Lo sé y soy testigo de tal porque un amigo centroamericano, pastor, que está aquí dentro de la ciudad de Bronzeville, está muy activo con la comunidad centroamericana y siempre está buscando ayuda, siempre está buscando, ¿verdad? Esos, no refugios, pero esas ayudas que se les pueda dar a los centroamericanos cuando vienen. Y más que nada, para ponernos, yo estoy seguro que todos nos ponemos a sus órdenes e invitarla a que aquí tiene su ciudad, a usted, su staff, cuando se les ofrezca, con toda confianza, por favor, la misma relación que sostenemos con nuestro cónsul mexicano, se le extiende a usted y a su gente, que sepan que en Bronzeville tienen sus amigos y más que nada tienen su segunda casa. Y bienvenidos aquí cuando ustedes gusten.
Muchas gracias. A este respecto, señor comisionado, en efecto, este acontecimiento está ayudando para que nuestros connacionales dejen de sentir el miedo hacia las autoridades. Hemos tenido que vencer esa barrera grande que hay, no solamente con ustedes, sino que con nosotros. Lamentablemente, en Latinoamérica los gobiernos estamos pues caracterizados por ser malos gobiernos y por ser poco humanos, ¿verdad? Sin embargo, estamos tratando de, como le repito, romper esa barrera fuerte que existe y una de las razones por las que estamos acercándonos a todos los alcaldes y a todas las personas que se nos sea posible en las autoridades es para que la gente, nuestros connacionales, y no solamente hablo por los guatemaltecos, sino que por ser el único consulado de Centroamérica que hay, bueno, de Latinoamérica aparte de México, ¿verdad? Pero yo sigo pensando que este es un México chiquito. Definitivamente, muchos centroamericanos se acercan a nosotros a pedir asistencia. Es para nosotros importante que ellos sientan que en ustedes y que en la ciudad y en las autoridades pueden encontrar confianza y se puedan acercar con toda la confianza del mundo, sabiendo que van a encontrar respuesta y si ustedes no se la pueden dar, nos las van a remitir cuando sea posible. Muchas gracias nuevamente.
Muchísimas gracias.
Item 17, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-054 to rezone from dwelling G classification to a professional office classification for 1.7 acres out of lots 7, 8, and 9 of Jose R. Almaraz subdivision located near Alton Gore Boulevard and Laredo Street.
Okay, can you read the next item? They'll both go together.
Item 18, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2012-054-S to allow a medium retail classification on a professional office classification for 1.7 acres out of lots 7, 8, and 9 of Jose R. Almaraz subdivision located near Alton Gore Boulevard and Laredo Street.
Again, we have another map. This area shaded in red is the rezoning from dwelling to first professional office, and a specific use to use it as light retail, a specific use for light retail. The specific use, we have the site plan of the specific use. We've been working with the applicants, with the neighbors, many years before, and this was before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they again recommending approval of this specific use and the rezoning.
Okay. Any comments from the public? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Just a minute. Only when I make mistakes you catch it, right?
That's all right, it's gotta vote sometimes.
Item 19, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2013-235.081 to amend the text of the city zoning ordinance by modifying the boundaries of an O31 overlay district as defined in ordinance 2004-1429 and dealing with related matters, including $2,000 penalties.
And the last slide of this PowerPoint shows it better. So the city has a lot of zoning overlays that were developed to protect from different ideas throughout the years. And this, as you see in the pink line, this is what we call the 031 non-residential overlay. And this is the zoning case that we just heard. The non-residential overlay is just basically to not allow residential in this area. The thought process, I think, at that point was, there was some industrial development occurring here. This probably happened about 15, 20 years ago, I would say. And the wastewater treatment facility, which is right here. We do know that, things have changed, technology has changed, PUB is improving their wastewater facility. So we feel that, the 031 being this large in this area is really not necessary anymore. We could use some residential development here, and so what we're proposing to you today, as part of this rezoning case as well, is to basically bring it back to the yellow line, and really that'll be a non-residential overlay to protect from residential really encroaching on the water treatment facility, which we don't want. But everything else, we feel comfortable with residential residential development starting to occur in this area. So Planning and Zoning reviewed this, and they unanimously said approval. And so we ask for your approval tonight.
I think this is a huge step for the city in a very positive direction. It just shows how much we're growing. I mean, that is a huge, huge chunk of District 2 that now will be able to house families and just a lot of very happy homes.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a very positive step. Right now, we need a lot of housing and apartments and whatnot, so it's very exciting for District 2.
Any comments from the public? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 20, public comment period. We don't have any public comments. Item 21, consideration and action to approve amendments to the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation bylaws.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. The GBIC Board has approved a set of bylaws, and they are required to present them to you for approval. Basically, the changes are, if you look at Section 3.08 in vacancies, before, if a GBIC Board member missed three consecutive meetings, it was grounds for removal, but there was no provision for how that removal would go about, and there was no way to define what constituted an excused and unexcused absence. What this procedure does, it basically states that if a GBIC board member misses 3 regular meetings, it's going to be presumed to be unexcused unless he contacts the GBIC director within 24 hours, requests that he be excused because of illness or conflict of interest with work, and that would be done in writing. So this way, we have a clearly defined procedure if people don't go to the meetings. This way, the GBIC would notify the City Commission that someone has missed 3 consecutive meetings, and those were unexcused absences. And then the City Commission would then appoint someone for the position. This would constitute an automatic vacancy in office, so there would be no need to remove someone. They would just be on notice that if they miss 3 consecutive meetings, it would be automatically removed. And then also, if you look at section 3.03, regular meetings, we define what a regular meeting is, because there was some question as to if missing what meetings, regular meetings, special meetings, what. And those are the only substantive changes in the bylaws. We would ask that you approve them.
I think that's a good move.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Item 22, consideration and action on resolution number 2013-013, authorizing the sale of the premises at 344 Porter Street, Brownsville, Texas, designating signatories for the purchase and dealing with related matters.
Mayor and members of the commission, this is a resolution authorizing the sale of the Texas National Guard facility that we purchased. We're selling it to the University of Texas system for $450,000, which is a bit over what we actually paid for the property.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 23, consideration and action on resolution number 2013-10, to approve the Brownsville Metro's Title VI program and authorizing its submission to the Federal Transit Administration.
Good evening, mayors and commissioners. FTA requires that all direct and primary recipients document their compliance by submitting a Title VI program to their FTA Regional Civil Rights Officer once every 3 years. This Title VI program must be approved by this board, and it must be turned in for their review and their approval. This is just a process that we have to go through every 3 years. These are just some of the regulations that we need to abide by. And Alex Lorio, our grant and outreach manager, will be giving you the presentation, and we'll entertain any questions at the end of the presentation or during the presentation. Anyway, Alex.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and City Commission. My name is Alex Lorio. I'm the Grant and Public Outreach Manager with the Brownsville Metro Department. And as Ms. Zamora mentioned, this is regarding our Title VI program and requirements and obligations that we have as recipients of federal funds. The specific documents that will be submitted to FTA were provided to each of your places. What I want to do here is to go over what the Title VI program requirements are, the elements included in ours, and then we're requesting your authorization to submit our program to the Federal Transit Administration. First, to provide you a little background on Title VI, this is referring to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which is about non-discrimination, specifically on the basis of race, color, or national origin. Section 601 of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act states, "No person in the United States shall, on the ground of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." That is the statutory basis for our requirement. Now, the individual federal agencies like the Department of Justice and the Federal Transit Administration, they've issued their implementing regulations for this statute, and the Federal Transit Administration has gone further and given us guidelines on how we can implement our programs to ensure that we're complying with the statute and their regulations. So the Federal Transit Administration requires us as recipients to keep records and document our compliance with the regulations, and they direct us to submit our program and this documentation every 3 years to the civil rights officer. and this program must be approved by the appropriate governing entity. So the Federal Transit Administration requires that our program contains certain specific elements to make sure that we're following the regulations. There are general requirements that apply to any recipient of federal funds, which could be a state, local government, transit agency, or the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And I'm going to go over the general requirements that apply to us and the specific ones that apply to us as a transit agency. First is that we're required to provide information to the public regarding our obligations under Title VI and the protections to the public against discrimination. We do this by posting Title VI notices. This is an example of the Title VI notices that we have available. These were what we submitted with our last program, and they were approved. As you can see, they're in both English and Spanish, and they provide information on that they were committed to practicing non-discrimination. This is another example of a Title VI notice that we have posted. As recipients of funds from the Texas Department of Transportation as well, they also have their own requirements that they require us to follow, and they require us to post this particular notice as well. So it's one of several that we have issued and posted around our facilities. The next 3 slides just are pictures of where we've actually posted these notices. You can see we've got some on the inside of our buses. We post these at the multimodal terminal in the La Plaza at Brownsville. We post them in the reception area. They're also posted on the large display wall boards in the lobby. Also, we have a web page on our site that's dedicated to Title VI. It also includes procedures for how the public can file a complaint and links to download a complaint form, which is actually the second requirement that we have under Title VI, which is to provide instructions to the public regarding how to file a Title VI discrimination complaint and have a complaint form. The procedures and forms are available to the public at the La Plaza terminal or through our website, as you saw. The Federal Transit Administration provides templates to us to use, so we're not, pardon the cliche, but we're not reinventing the wheel. We just use their forms and adapt them with our logos. The third required element is to list any public transportation-related Title VI investigations, complaints, or lawsuits filed within that we've received since the last submission. Fortunately, there haven't been any, so our list is blank. The fourth required element is to have a public participation plan that includes an outreach plan to engage minority and limited English proficient populations, as well as a summary of outreach efforts made since the last program submission. Now, our public participation policy was first adopted in 1996. It's been revised a few times since then in order to comply with new changes, because whenever there's a new federal administration, sometimes there are changes. It's the same one that we submitted the last time, and it was approved. The only change this time is the summary of outreach efforts made since our last program submission. So I just included within that document a list of what we had done before, and it mostly has to do with advertising in both English and Spanish in various publications, and et cetera. Fifth, the fifth element is that we prepare a plan for providing language assistance to persons with limited English proficiency. As part of this, we're required to perform an analysis of our population to determine the specific language services that are appropriate for us to provide. In Brownsville, we're fortunate that the only other language that we have to really worry about is Spanish, and that we fully integrate Spanish into our daily operations. That's been a generally accepted business practice for a long time, so we didn't really have to put forth any extra efforts to comply with this one. As you all know, most of the folks here speak Spanish. We have more Spanish speakers than English speakers, so almost all of the public information that we release is in both English and Spanish. So this was a pretty easy one for us to comply with. Number 6, another required element of our program is that we provide a table depicting the racial breakdown of the membership of transit-related, non-elected advisory councils or committees, and a description of efforts made to encourage the participation of minorities on such councils or committees. So this requirement applies to our city's Transit Advisory Committee, which was appointed to monitor the performance of Brownsville Metro, review requested and proposed service policy and procedure changes, and to assure that user and institutional needs have been addressed. So here's the table. I also included, for reference, percentages in the general population. And as we filled one vacancy this evening, and there's one vacancy left right now, but this gives you an idea. The next two requirements really don't apply to us, but I'm going to just briefly go over them really quick. Number 7 is ensure that subrecipients are complying with Title VI. Well, we don't have subrecipients. All the grant funds that we receive, we use, and we don't grant them, so that one doesn't apply to us. And number 8, we're required to do an equity analysis during the planning stage when we construct a new facility. Well, as you know, we're constructing the multi-level parking garage, but we, during the planning phase, which was back in 2005, 2006, we conducted our analysis and it was already approved, so this wouldn't apply to that particular project. And we don't have projects right now that it would apply to. Finally, as a fixed route transit provider, we're also required to set system-wide service standards and policies. The standards and policies must address how service is distributed across the transit system. They're meant to ensure service design and operations practices do not result in discrimination on the basis of race, color, or national origin. This is, we adopted a policy several years ago, which included all the requirements. There were 2 elements that have been updated, which were required, which related to how frequently buses pass on a route and what vehicles are assigned to which route. We always had policies, they were more informal, so it's just a matter of putting those in writing and including them in this document. So the next steps, first, we need commission approval to submit this program. Once it's approved, we'll submit it to the civil rights officer for review, and hopefully they'll concur with it, and once they concur, we can continue.
Very, very good.
Are there any questions?
Nice presentation.
Very nice.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Norma.
Item 24, consideration and action on resolution number 2013-011 to authorize the city manager to accept a grant for hazard mitigation in the amount of $50,000 to develop a mitigation plan for the Brownsville Public Utilities Board and the City of Brownsville.
Mayor, Commissioners, because I'm sick this evening, I'm going to have John read the resolution tonight, if you don't mind.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Resolution number 2013-011. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, accepting and taking certain actions with respect to a grant from the Texas Department of Public Safety, finding the resolution to have been considered pursuant to the laws governing open meetings, providing the severability clause and other matters in connection herewith, Whereas the City of Brownsville collaborated with the Brownsville Public Utilities Board of the City of Brownsville, Texas, on submitting a hazard mitigation grant program application to the Texas Department of Public Safety for financial assistance for the development of a mitigation action plan, and whereas the department has approved the application as project number DR-1999-016 on December 6, 2012, in the amount of $50,000. And whereas the commission desires to accept the grant, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, that the commission hereby approves and accepts continued collaboration with the board on the grant to develop the map for the City of Brownsville, Texas, substantially in the form attached hereto as Exhibit A, which is a grant award notice. The city manager is authorized to perform any action necessary to effectuate the grant in accordance with the rules, regulations, and policies of the commission. The recitals contained in the preamble hereof are hereby found to be true, and such recitals are hereby made a part of this resolution for all purposes and are adopted as a part of the judgment and findings of the commission. This resolution shall be construed and enforced in accordance with the laws of the state of Texas and the United States of America. If any provision of this resolution or the application thereof to any question or circumstance shall be held to be invalid, the remainder of the resolution and the application of such provision to other persons and circumstances shall nevertheless be valid, and the commission hereby declares that this resolution would have been enacted without such invalid provision. It is officially found, determined, and declared that the meeting at which this resolution is adopted was open to the public, and public notice of the time, place, and subject matter of the public business to be considered at such meeting, including this resolution, was given, all as required by Chapter 551 as amended Texas Government Code.
Very good, John. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 25, consideration and action to adopt budget amendment resolution number 2013-012 to amend the general fund expenditures budget and to amend the budget for additional expenditures in the landfill tipping fee increase fund.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. I'll be presenting the budget amendment. We have a summary analysis of budget amendments for general fund and landfill, requesting use of plastic bag ordinance fees to fund partially fund the purchase of a tub grinder out of the on the landfill fees. We're requesting budget amendments to provide funding for professional service, machinery, equipment of a tub grinder, and a articulated dump truck, which will have a net decrease in the landfill tipping fee of $933,141. The first item for consideration is a Hudzilla tub grinder of $817,701. Function of this machinery is to stay in compliance with TCEQ regulations by recycling wood products into compost and reducing tire waste. Replacement of this unit is needed because of fire damage. Funding requested is plastic bag ordinance fee for $419,101. Current available balance as of December 31st is $657,344. Allowable use as per this plastic bag fees allowable as per legal department's opinion. We had a TML reimbursement claim of $93,600 and the insurance deductible of $5,000. This is a picture of the tub grinder. The next item is a CAT articulated dump truck for $357,041. This is in addition to support an aging 2000 CAT scraper, which has surpassed industry standard life span of 7 years. This vehicle is vital to operations of the landfill and stay compliant with TCEQ regulations. Funding available through the landfill tipping fee fund balance. This is a picture of the articulated dump truck. And last, this is to provide funding for SCS engineering contract that was approved by City Commission on June 7, 2011, $571,100.
Is it really called a Hogzilla?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All those in favor of Hogzilla? No.
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 26, consideration and action to approve a request from Chardays Fiesta Organization to utilize city streets located at the end of Palm Boulevard at the intersection of Mexico Boulevard in the former Amigo Land area for the 76th annual Chardays 20th Century Rides Carnival from February the 28th through March the 10th of 2013.
This is the Charles Days Carnival. Mayor, we traditionally bring this to the commission for awareness and for approval to utilize our streets out there for the parade portion of this.
I entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 27, consideration and action to award a contract for the installation of sidewalks along various city locations.
Mayor, City Commissioners, our recommendation for this is to, we're asking for consideration and action to award a contract for installation of ADA bus stop improvement along Mexico Boulevard, Land O'Lakes, the Land O'Lake area, and Pablo Quisel Street towards Morrison Road. Of the cities in our area, to R&R Paving of San Benito, Texas, the lowest responsive bidder in the amount of $322,479,000. Funding for this procurement is available through the TxDOT's New Freedom grants 1201, 1202, and 1203. And the completion for this project is approximately 75 days.
That's very exciting that you're making the ADA improvement in Land O'Lakes. He's not here, but I'll ask for him. Did you address the bus shelter in Galaxia?
Yeah. It has been in, I mean, it is part of all of this, but we're right now doing the surveying.
Okay.
The surveying and design for that area, but
Okay.
yes, it's part of the project.
Well, I'm very excited about the Land O'Lakes improvement because every day I drive by and that irks me, so thank you.
Yeah.
Norma, on the Pablo Quisel, will it communicate to will it connect up to the new Morrison Road Trail?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. All those, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 28, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery
Here
of one
comes the
new
Hogzilla.
2013 tub grinder with 2 sets of screens for use by the Brownsville Public Utilities Department landfill.
Is this Hogzilla?
Yes.
All right. I don't think we need anything more said.
As you may have heard, Mr. Granado, so this is what we're shooting for. Good evening, Mayor, City
Good
Commissioners.
evening, Santana.
Motion to approve the
Thank
Hogzilla.
you.
All those in favor say aye.
Take pictures with it.
Okay, you're in good spirits today, Santana.
I got one more.
You got one more little articulating truck.
Yes.
Item number 29, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of one new articulating truck for use by the Brownsville Public Works Department.
To approve? Second.
Did everybody articulate? Yeah, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
Santana.
this. Thank
Awesome
you.
job, Santana.
Thank you.
Would adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries.